Hello, everybody, and welcome to something a little bit different today. So today we are going to be doing a YouTube survival quiz. This one is called Would You Survive Being Hunted in the Woods? So it's different than the normal gameplay that we normally do. If you like more of this content, go ahead and comment, let me know, and I can upload more of this type of content. And yeah, that's everything. Let's get into it. Okay, and this video is by Oddly Specific Crystal. So shout out to her. If you want to see any more of these videos, just go ahead and check out her channel. It looks like she's got some pretty cool content on here.
This is a quiz to find out if you'd survive being hunted in the wilderness. This quiz does not use movie logic, but instead real escape and evasion tactics drawn from SEER training, tracking manuals, and survival psychology.
Alright, let's go ahead and skip a little
Answer
bit into the video.
along. You get
Oh,
one
wait.
option, and I'll give you.
Maybe I should actually listen to this.
Some of the questions are straightforward, most of them are not. For each question, you'll get 4 options, and I'll give you a moment to choose what you would do, and then I'll reveal the correct answer, and I'll also explain why the other options would have gotten you caught, cornered, or worse. Keep track of your score as you go along. You get 1 point.
This is a quiz to find out if you would survive being hunted in the wilderness. It doesn't use movie logic, but instead real escape and evasion tactics down from SEER, survive, evade, resist, and escape. I'm pretty familiar with SEER. It's 22 questions long. For each question, you'll get 4 options. I'll give you a moment to choose what you would do, then reveal the correct answer and explain why the others would have gotten you caught, cornered, or worse. Keep track of your score as you go along. You get 1 point per correct answer. At the end, you'll see whether you escaped or if you were just delaying the inevitable. So I'll go ahead and keep track on my phone what my overall score was. If you guys want to, you guys should do the same just to see what you would do and then see if you would survive at the end or not.
Point per correct answer. And at the end, I'll tell you if you would have escaped.
Alright, disclaimer. Okay.
You wake in the woods. No memory of how you got here. Just a pounding head and the distant sound of birds. Your phone is gone. No bags. You're wearing clothes that aren't yours. Or if they are yours, you don't recognize them. You check your surroundings. About 30 feet away, you see a boot print in the mud. It's deep, fresh, and facing toward you. Nearby, there's a broken branch at shoulder height, too clean to be damaged by wind. And then, you hear it. A distant snapping of twigs. Not casual, not aimless, deliberate. And that's when it hits you. Someone is tracking you. And they know you're awake. You hear more movement. Not close, but not far. You have maybe 20 seconds before your last known position is compromised. The forest terrain around you is mixed. Pine needles, exposed rock, a creek downhill, and a nearby gravel trail. What do you do to first break the line of sight and begin evading? Option A, head straight downhill into the creek and follow it downstream, walking into water. Option B, scramble uphill over rocky terrain to higher ground and observe from concealment. Option C, follow the gravel trail briefly, then veer off into brush and double back. And option D, use the pine needle ground to create distance silently, weaving through cover. So the correct answer.
Good thing I paused it right there, because let me discuss this a little bit. So, head straight downhill into the creek. I'm gonna be honest, this seems like the worst option unless maybe you're like being chased by something like a predator or something that can actually sense your smell. Scramble uphill over rocky terrain to higher ground and observe from concealment. I like this one a lot. Follow the gravel trail briefly, then veer off into brush and double back. I don't. So he doesn't know where I am just yet, but at the same time, this is probably the person that put me there. So they probably do know where I am. So sound is probably going to be a good one. The pine needle ground to create distance silently, weaving through cover. But at the same time, even if I move silently, he's heading in my direction. He's just going to see me when he heads there. So I have to assume that he already knows where I'm at. So I think the best way is to conceal myself so that way he doesn't know where I am moving forward. Could be mistaken, but I think I'm going to go with B. That's my answer. You're thinking A, head straight downhill into the creek. That was my immediate thought, but realistically, he's still going to be able to see you. Let's see.
Here is option A, head straight downhill.
Good job. Marmarcon06, you got the first one
to the
right.
creek and follow it downstream, walking into water. So the reason this is the right answer is because walking into water is a classic evasion technique taught in SEER training to mask scent and footprints. It also makes
You know,
directional
I said
tracking
it too. It's just if I'm walking on rocky ground, there's gonna be no footprints left behind, and the concealment sounds the best. Yeah, you're too good. Okay. But yeah, but the scent. If this is just a person, because obviously it's a person, there's no way that this is like a bear or something. Because what did the bear just pick you up? Hold on, let me take these clothes off you real quick. Whoosh, whoosh. And then just it's gonna let me get that button for you. And there's your pants real quick. Let me get that belt around you. The bear did all that? I don't think so. I don't think that this person is smelling me unless I smell that horrible. Holy shit. But I'm going with the freaking the mountain, okay? The creek is pretty good too. It's the quietest, no foot tracks. But one of the options, it literally specified that it was for the silence. But that is a good point that, I mean, I do think, I can also see the creek being really silent. They could have just thrown that and tried to throw me off. Who knows? But yeah.
significantly harder, especially in shallow moving creeks. Moving downhill also adds natural cover and speed, and water helps throw off both humans and dogs. Option
That's a good point. They could have dogs.
B, scrambling uphill and observing, is not the best choice because even though you gain visibility, which is good for observing, it's not great for escaping as you move slower uphill and you also risk your silhouette being exposed. Option
That
C,
is a very good
following the
point.
gravel trail briefly, then veering off into brush and doubling back, is also wrong because trails are obvious and easy to track on, and doubling back risks reinterception if anyone looking for you anticipates you'll try and evade them.
Okay,
Option
let me
D,
actually think
using
really
the
hard
pine
on
needle
these.
ground to create distance is not incorrect, but it's also not the best option here. So even though this is quiet, which is an advantage, it doesn't hide your trail or scent like water does. So you've put some distance between you and the initial sight. But then you remember something. Dogs. They don't just track by sight. If whoever is tracking you has a dog, you're leaving a trail with every step. You look around you and you have access to mud, a stagnant pool of water, and decaying vegetation nearby. What's your best option to reduce your scent?
Okay, it's a stagnant pool of water, not a running thing of water. Dear Pete, I did not remember that being an option. You're a cheater. You're a cheater. Dude, I want to say mud, but I know that's just because of the movie Predator. I mean, realistically, dude, it's between mud and decaying vegetation. So it's stagnant. This is no longer a river. It's not something I can walk in. Yo, stop saying P from deer. Where are you getting this from? Anyways. Oh, wait.
Trail. Option 1. Cover your body in mud, especially hands, feet, and armpits to mask scent-emitting zones. Option
Sounds
2.
like the best option.
Roll in decaying vegetation and stay downwind as much as possible. Option 3.
pretty good.
Use stagnant water to soak clothes and your skin and then move into higher elevation. Or option 4. Alternate between dense brush and open rocky terrain to break scent continuity.
Okay, if there was a deer piss option, I might actually crash out. I think I'm gonna have to go with mud. I mean, the way it says to mask scent emitting zones, I just feel like that's really good. Now, I can definitely see decaying vegetation being good, but realistically, that stuff's not gonna stick like mud is. Yeah, I think we're all gonna go with A here.
So the correct answer here is option A, cover your body in mud. So the reason this is the right answer is because mud clogs
1
pores,
point.
cools the body, and also creates a physical barrier over high odor areas such as your armpits, your groin, and your feet.
And it's probably
It's
more
one of the-
natural camouflage than, the other options, of
The most
course.
accessible and
little
effective
bit.
ways to disrupt scent trails in short-term scenarios. Option B, rolling in decaying vegetation and staying downwind, is not the best answer because this might add odor layering, but it doesn't block your natural scent. And this also just creates its own scent signature. Option C, using stagnant water to soak your clothes and skin, also isn't the best option because while it's true that cooling your body can briefly reduce sweat and slow the release of scent compounds, once the
Got
water
to, good
evaporates,
job.
your natural odor returns. And stagnant water doesn't cling well enough to block it. Option D,
Oh, before I move on, wait, let me finish
alternating
talking.
between dense brush and open rocky terrain, also isn't the best option because it doesn't disrupt your scent, just your visual trail. And you have to remember that dogs follow scent, not terrain patterns.
Okay, let me go ahead and change the title real quick. Would you survive being hunted in the woods? Gonna be just chatting. Okay.
So you cover your body in
Continue.
mud and you keep going. You've now been moving steadily for over an hour. But straight line movement is predictable. You need to find a way to break your pattern. How do you best
I'm a zigzag like that little shit in Game of Thrones should have done when Ramsay was like trying to shoot him with the bow? That's what I'm gonna do here.
off a train tracker following your path? Option A, walk backward along your own trail for 50 meters, then break off in a sharp angle. Option B, climb a tree and wait silently for 30 minutes, watching for movement before redirecting. Option C, make a false trail with broken branches leading towards a visible path, then divert silently. Or option D, circle around and cross your own trail at a perpendicular angle to confuse.
Okay, bro. I know that option D, like, it just sounds the best, right? But like realistically, I wanna think realistically. What would I do in this scenario? And I think everybody, listening and watching should do the same here too. And I think the one I'm most likely to do here is C. Or sorry. Yeah, C. The breaking the branches to make a fake path, then divert silently. You think B, climb a tree and wait silently for 30 minutes? I don't think that one's that bad. But if there's a dog, I don't want it to get too close to me. I know that mud will probably work, but I don't want to get too close. And then that's still adding risk, especially because there's a good chance that you're going to, like, climbing a tree, you break a branch or something, you're just possibly making yourself more obvious here. So, and then crossing your own trail at a perpendicular angle, it sounds good, but realistically, I think you're just wasting time and going to close that gap between you and the hunter. So I'm going to make a false trail with broken branches leading toward a visible path, then divert silently. And that's what I'm going with, option C.
Tracking. So the correct answer here is option C, make a false trail with broken branches leading towards a visible
2
path
points!
and then diverting silently.
That's what you get, Marmarkhan. Caught up to you now. Praying on your downfall over here, I'm not gonna lie.
So before I explain why this is the correct answer, I do have a disclaimer that yes, obviously a train tracker can recognize a false trail, but recognition still takes time, and they still have to check it before discarding it. Out of your 4 options, this still creates the greatest delay with the least risk. By pushing a clear trail towards an obvious escape route and then breaking off, you're still buying yourself minutes for them to confirm. And evasion isn't about fooling them forever, it's about
Sassy
stacking.
broad? How dare you? How dare you? I'm not gonna tolerate that. You're getting timed out! How do I time you out? Oh shoot. I timed you out for 600 seconds. I deleted all your messages too. I'm so sorry, Marmarkhan. How do I untime you out? I was joking. 1 second, Marmarkhan. I'm gonna untime you out. Okay, you're untimed out. I apologize. I thought I could make it like 10 seconds or something. Maybe I'm a sassy broad. I take it back.
Time advantages while you're out of reach. Option A, walking backwards and then breaking off in a sharp angle, is not
Disrespectful. I am sorry. I am sorry.
option because backward footprints are still detectable by weight distribution and drag marks, and this is too obvious to train trackers. Option B, climbing a tree and waiting, is also wrong because here you're stationary, not breaking your own trail pattern. And if they see
Yeah, you hear that, Marmarkhan? Your option sucks. Your answer sucks. Do better.
you have no exit. And option
Yo, you keep spamming, I'll time you out again. Okay? Last warning, Marmarkhan.
D, circling
Don't make me.
around and crossing your own trail at a perpendicular angle, is also not the best answer because while this adds complexity, it doesn't mislead. And you've still left one consistent trail behind you. The sun is now setting. You've evaded for several hours but need rest to think clearly tomorrow. You know the crucial rules. You cannot be seen, smelled, or heard. Where do you sleep tonight? Option A, In a low depression near a creek, covered in debris, close to a noise source like water.
I like that option.
Option B, halfway up a slope under tree cover, inside a natural hollow or root cluster. Option C, high up in a tree, harnessed in or wedged between limbs with camouflage netting. Or option D, in an overhang or cave-like formation, deep enough to conceal but shallow enough for you to escape.
Okay. You think C? I think C is my least favorite, just because your scent is the most obvious. Seen, smelled, heard. Those are your three things right here. So, right now what I'm thinking, a low depression near a creek. So if you're in a low depression, you're naturally being shielded from the wind, which obviously the wind is what's going to be carrying your scent. If you're high up, that your scent's going to travel the farthest. So I think your scent's going to be worse in option C. I think we should be looking for the best option for the seen, smelled, or heard. Okay, so you're not going to be heard, and you're not that likely to be smelled in a low depression near a creek covered in debris. You're not really likely to be seen either. However, in an overhang or cave-like formation, deep enough to conceal but shallow enough to escape fast. See, now this isn't masking the sound. Now, if anything, you can like actually kind of echo a little bit. It's not. It's kind of masking your scent a tiny bit, not too much. And then I don't think it's really hiding you that well. I'm only picking C because it reminds me of Hunger Games. Fair enough, fair enough. I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to go with A because I think it is the best option for seen, smelled, and heard.
So the correct answer here is option B, halfway up a slope under tree cover inside a natural hollow or a root cluster.
Dude, I forgot about that one. The natural hollow or root cluster actually sounds great.
So the reason this is the right answer is because this location avoids skyline exposure, flood zones, and cold air pooling. Root clusters and exits provide concealment and also quick exit points. And that makes it
We're still tied, but realistically, we're both dying at this point, okay?
ideal for stealthy rest in evasion scenarios. Option A, sleeping in a depression
Spitting noises? What?
close to water is not the best option because water attracts humans and animals. And cold air sinks to low points, which increases your risk of hypothermia. Option C, sleeping...
do I know what time of year it is? If I'm worried about hypothermia? These are some, important questions, because if I'm in, during the fall in Florida, I'm chilling, okay? I'm not worried about hypothermia.
High up in a tree is also wrong because sleeping in trees is extremely dangerous without equipment and it makes you visible if the trackers are scanning upward. Option D, sleeping in an overhang or a cave-like formation is also not the best option because those places trap scent, amplify sound, and they reduce your exit options, making it way too risky if you're discovered. On your second day, you find a hunter's bait station. There's a pile of cracked corn and trail cam bait nearby. You're starving, but you know that taking food means risk. This area could be checked regularly. What do you do?
Okay.
Option A, take a small handful and then destroy any evidence that you were there, including footprints. Option B, leave it. Option C, set up a false camp nearby using disturbed materials to imply you slept there. Or option D, wait until dusk, then approach from a downwind direction, minimizing contact.
Okay, it's only day 2. I don't think I really want to interact at all with this. B, leave it. Yeah, I am kind of leaning towards leave it. But I do know food probably will be bigger later on, but realistically, I don't think I'm going to starve to death out here, okay? I think if I'm out here for 4 or 5 days... Wait, actually, how long can you go without food? Let me look this up real quick. How long can you go without food? Up to 2 months? No way. Okay, I didn't eat food for 5 days. You know what? Yeah, I'm leaving it. It's not even very good food. Good point. I can still be picky. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I don't care. I'm leaving it.
So the correct answer here is option B, to leave it. So the
3
reason
points.
this is the right answer is because hunger is manageable, but being detected is not. SEER principles prioritize evasion over comfort. Bait stations are high-risk zones, and they're often monitored with trail cams or scent markers. Option A, taking a small handful and then destroying evidence, isn't worth the risk because even minimal contact leaves scent and trace. And option C, setting up a false camp nearby, is also wrong because this is overcomplicated and it leaves more trace than it misleads, and you don't want to simulate your presence there. Option D, waiting until dusk and then approaching from a downward direction, is also not a good idea because dusk is a common time for humans and animals to check bait, so it actually increases your risk of running into someone. Before this video continues, I need to tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you've first purchase of a website or domain using the code CRYSTAL, the temperature has dropped suddenly, and rain is rolling in. You're soaked, tired, and starting to shiver. You have no dry gear and no fire starter. What do you do to reduce your risk of hypothermia while staying hidden? Option A, find a pine tree with low-hanging limbs, crawl underneath, and insulate with debris.
No.
Option B, strip off wet clothes and do vigorous exercise until dry.
No.
Option C, curl into a ball near a rock face to conserve body heat. Or option D, dig a trench, cover yourself with leaves, and lie still.
I think I'm not even gonna think about this one too much. I think I'm gonna go D. I mean, pine tree under low-hanging, that's not really gonna protect yourself from getting wet at all. Dig a trench, cover yourself with leaves. Okay, rain is rolling in. You think C, curl into a ball near a rock face to conserve body heat? I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm picturing in my mind when I think of rock face. Let me just look this up for reference real quick. Rock face. Because is this going to give me any type of cover at all? Yo, what are these answers? Alright, so you're like near a cliff. That's not really going to help you. Yo, why do I look up rock face and I see this shit right here? Please tell me. Anyways, moving on. I think I'm gonna stick with D.
So the correct answer here is option A, find a pine tree, crawl underneath, and insulate yourself with debris. So the reason this is the right answer is because coniferous trees provide natural cover from both rain and wind. And the ground beneath—
You know what? That's true. I didn't even think about it. I immediately thought it was bad, but I should have compared it to the rest, because realistically, it is still the best out of all the options.
beneath these trees is usually drier. Debris insulation like leaves and pine needles also creates a barrier against conducive heat loss, and this method is taught in survival training as an emergency shelter fallback. Option B, stripping and exercising, is wrong and also a dangerous myth. While it's true that wet clothes are bad, exertion actually accelerates heat loss once fatigue hits. Option C, curling near a rock face, is also wrong because rock faces are heat sinks, and unless the sun's been on it all day, it'll suck your body heat. Option D, digging a trench, is also not the best option because it burns too much energy while you're already cold. Lying still is also bad as it's passive cooling while you're already not well insulated. You stumble across an abandoned campsite.
Should've thought about
There's
that
an
one
empty
more.
pack, a jacket, and a ball cap with a logo. You suspect you're near civilization, or being pushed towards it. What's the best thing to do with this gear? Option A, take the clothes and wear them to appear more like a local hiker. Option B, search the area for more supplies before deciding what to do. Option C, use the pack to create a decoy trail heading in the opposite direction. Or option D, booby trap the site to slow your pursuer and gauge their presence.
Okay, first of all, I'm not gauging their presence. So just off that gauging one, I almost thought D was good until it said gauging their presence. So I'm gonna eliminate D. Okay. Use the pack to create a decoy trail heading in the opposite direction. This seems good. A does not. I do like the idea of having additional clothes when I'm cold, but to appear more like a local hiker, that alone, it just makes me not want to go with it. Search the area for more supplies before deciding what to do. I think I'm not going to go with that one simply because I don't want to stay there any longer than I have to. So by process of elimination, I'm going to go with C.
So the correct answer here is option C, use the pack to create a decoy trail heading in the opposite direction. So this is the best option out of the 4, even though obviously a trained tracker won't be completely fooled by a planted pack trail. They'll eventually recognize the signs. But the point here isn't to permanently deceive them, it's to buy time. A pack, especially if it scuffs brush or leaves a clear impression, creates a believable vector that demands at least a quick check from the tracker, and that pause gives you enough space to double back, change terrain, or gain distance. In evasion, even a 5-minute delay can reset the chase.
Wait, what was the right answer? It was option C. You got it right. So we are both currently at 4 points.
Option A, wearing unknown clothes, is wrong because this adds risk. The scent signature is unknown and you could be mistaken for someone else if spotted. Option B, searching the area, also adds risk without urgency, because if it's a trap, you're already exposed by staying still. And you don't need more gear here, you need distance. And option D, buoy trapping, is bad because it's basically movie logic. It's easily traceable and just escalates risk. It's the late afternoon and you smell smoke. There's no wind and the scent is strong. Could be fire, could be human, could be your pursuer cooking. What do you do? Option A, observe slowly from downwind and observe from a distance. Option B, immediately divert course to put at least 2 kilometers between you and the smoke. Option C, use the smoke as a landmark to calibrate your bearings. Or option D, leave a subtle false trail towards the smoke and then divert hard left. So the
Me.
Or option D, leave a subtle
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with B here. So I don't want to go towards it. C sounds good, but I almost want to do C and B together. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with B here. And then leave a subtle false trail towards the smoke, then divert hard left. You're just wasting time, and either that fire is either the person or somebody else, either way. So realistically, I don't even want to head towards it. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna go a different direction.
false trail towards the smoke and then divert hard left. So the correct answer here is option A, approach slowly from downwind and observe from a distance. So the reason this is the right answer is because downwind movement ensures your scent won't carry, and observing from afar gives you intel without committing. Getting visual confirmation is safer than assuming, and you don't know if it's civilians, a fire hazard, or even safety. Either way, information here is better than blind avoidance. Option B, immediately diverting course, is not
Why do we keep getting the same ones wrong? Yeah.
wrong here, but it's also strategically inferior, and that's a meaningful distinction. It won't get
I think that could also just be because you can argue some of these, but at the same time, it's just her opinion at the end of the day. So, you shouldn't take it like too seriously,
you caught right now, but it costs you valuable information and resources, and it undermines your long-term chances of survival. Because here, you might be wasting energy and daylight without learning anything about the threat.
It's just because, in my opinion, yeah, she's right that you could possibly get safety, but let's be real here. I don't think that fire is going to be civilization, right? A fire hazard, I don't see why that's my problem if it's a fire hazard. And then also, let's say I do see somebody, right? And they could say that's safety. How do you determine if that's safety or the hunter? Is there really any way of figuring that out? Even if there's multiple people, how do you know there isn't multiple people hunting you? You've never seen the person. So that's why, in my opinion, I would go with B. But like I said, it's really not that deep. It's just the person's opinion at the end of the day.
And you could even be running from help, such as a civilian camp, ranger station, or even rescue. In real survival training,
A ranger
blind
station. If it was a ranger station, that'd be great. But I don't... Do ranger stations like light fires, though?
avoidance is discouraged because in survival, ignorance can be more dangerous than proximity. Option C is wrong because using it as a landmark doesn't help you if you don't know what it is. And option D is also not the right answer because false trails only work if you know what you're misdirecting them away from. So this adds complexity without information. So you approach slowly, and through the trees, you spot it. Not a wildfire, not a roaring blaze, just a thin, steady column. Controlled. Someone's fire. Small enough for cooking. Whoever built it knew what they were doing. You hold your breath, scanning for movement. And that's when you hear it, rustling. It's heavy, human. From the brush, a man with a rifle steps into view, 30 meters away. He hasn't seen you yet. There's a tree behind you and a gully to your left. There's no time to think. What do you do? Option A, Drop flat and crawl towards the gully under cover. Option B, stay perfectly still and wait until he passes. Option C, move behind the tree and assess from partial cover. Or option D, toss a rock in the opposite direction and flee while he...
Okay. D, absolutely not. That's movie logic. Your risk just being... Yo, Marmarcon, did you seriously just say D? D is movie logic, and that, like, he could just see the rock, and then he's gonna see the direction it came from. So I need to go ahead and check what a goalie is before I can make this decision, though. I'll show you as well, chat. Yeah, what is this? Oh, okay, so it's like it's kind of like a ditch. Not quite like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a ravine, but you know, a decent sized ditch. Now, if it's that close though, it's not going to give you that much cover, right? I don't like see that much because it says partial cover, right? So this man most likely is the hunter, which also makes me think I should have got the last one right, okay? It seems like we should have just avoided this entirely. From the brush, a man with a rifle steps into view, so he has a rifle. I'm not staying perfectly still. I wish I could see what direction he's facing. So, move behind the tree. And also, drop flat and crawl towards the goalie under cover. If you're army crawling, that is going to make like the most noise here. Pick one and let's unpause. Don't rush me. Okay, I'm getting to it. Okay, fine. I'm going to move behind a tree and assess from partial cover.
He's distracted. So the correct answer here is option B. Stay completely still and blend into the cover. So the reason this is the right answer is because movement draws the
Obviously it wasn't D. Obviously it wasn't D.
human eye faster than anything else. If he hasn't seen you yet...
That's true, but I feel like that is a little difficult because it doesn't tell me how far away he is or which direction he's facing. Because if he's facing my direction, I'm not moving. If I'm even in his peripheral, I'm not moving. But if his back is turned, I'm going to quietly move away, and I'll stop if he starts facing me a little bit.
Your best option is to remain absolutely still in a natural position. Unless he's using thermal imaging, stillness in shadows or
Yo, is this the Predator? What do you mean thermal imaging?
foliage is often more effective than trying to scramble for cover after you've already been spotted. SEER training emphasizes that the less you move, the harder it is to separate you from the background. Option A, crawling away, might feel safer because you're lowering your profile, but this creates noise and movement.
Yo, quit the spam, Marmarcon.
At ground level, like rustling leaves, snapping twigs, and shifting brush. If he's scanning, that subtle motion is exactly what
You know what, Marmarcon? I really hope she says that option D is movie logic.
will give you away, and you're better off being motionless and blending into the environment than risking the sound and movement of a slow retreat. Option C, bolting to the tree, might seem like a quick
Yo, bolting? Who said bolting? I would be moving quietly.
fix for cover, but lateral or sudden movement is also one of the easiest things for people to notice. Even if the tree shields you once you reach it, the movement getting there will almost guarantee he sees you.
It depends what direction he's facing. I just wish I knew that before making a decision. Because if I knew that I'm in his peripheral, I'd stay still.
In evasion, moving late is often far more dangerous than not moving at all. And option D, tossing an object to make a distraction, can work in some contexts, but it's extremely risky. If the man is cautious, and anyone moving with a rifle in the woods usually is, he won't dismiss the noise. He'll become more alert and start actively scanning for what caused it. In survival training, this is called a stimulus search. Once someone is triggered, they look harder, not less. A false distraction when you're already undetected often just puts a spotlight
You're better? You're still wrong.
on the area you're in, so you freeze, every muscle locked, while the man scans the tree line. Seconds feel like minutes. Finally, he shifts direction, adjusting his rifle, and he drifts back into the brush. You wait, long after he's gone.
How did you have a closer answer? She didn't say there's a right and a wrong. You're not at like what 4.5 points. You are at 4 points.
Until the woods settle again. No sound, but the steady pulse of your heartbeat. Before this video continues, I just want to let you know if you want to get a digital copy of this quiz or my quiz on option. When you move on, the terrain betrays you. The tree's thin,
What do you mean we're actually both at 2? I'm at 4.
the cover breaks. Ahead is a wide open field. No trees, no foliage, and no natural cover. The
Hold on, I need to actually lock in. Yeah, I'm at 4, so you should be 2 if we're still tied. The terrain betrays you, the tree's thin, and the cover breaks. Ahead is a wide open field. The fastest way forward is straight across, but fields are a natural kill zone if anyone is
fastest way
watching.
through is straight across, but fields are natural kill zones. If anyone is watching from the tree line, you'll be a silhouette with nowhere to hide. But you also can't stay here. You have to cross. But how?
I'm going
Option
around.
A, sprint across immediately in a straight line, speed over stealth. Option B, stay low and crawl quickly along the edge, using grass and terrain dips for concealment. Option C, cut a wide arc across the field, staying in the tree line even if it costs time. Or option D, move in short crouched bursts, freezing every few steps to scan for movement.
Definitely not A, definitely not D. It's between B or C. But this is still day 2, correct? If it's day 2, I think I'm gonna... You think B? C sounds like the safest, right? I'm gonna go with C. But at the same time, B just sounds like it conceals you the most. Stay low and crawl quickly. Okay, I don't really like quickly around the edge. Okay, I'm gonna go with C. B is perfect. I'm gonna go with C. I'm not
So
gonna
the correct
copy.
answer here is option C, cut a
I'm not gonna copy you. I don't need to. I'm at
Wide
5
arc.
points, by the way. Let me write that down. 5. You see that right there? Is it focused? Yeah, that'll never be you. That'll never be you.
across the field, staying in the tree line even if it costs you time. So the reason this is the right answer is because in evasion, cover is almost always worth the detour. A wide arc keeps you inside concealment and also denies the hunter an easy silhouette to spot. It's true that this burns more time and energy than the other options, but speed means nothing if you're visible in open ground. Real seer doctrine emphasizes that terrain is essential and avoiding exposure beats gambling on speed. Option A, sprinting straight across, is the wrong answer because even though this feels decisive, it's exactly what a pursuer expects. One glance from the tree line and you're done. Option B, crawling along the is also wrong because this
You're
just
so
creates a
impatient.
jerky visible movement and humans are wired to detect motion, not for staying unseen. So you stay along the tree line and slowly, agonizingly slowly, you make it past the field. But you've been moving for hours now and you're running out of water, fast, and you find a muddy stream, still, brownish, but not stagnant. You have
I'm not drinking it, bro. Muddy water, and the water is still.
no purification tablets, no boiling gear, just your shirt. What do you do to rehydrate safely enough to keep moving? Option A, drink directly from the stream because dehydration is the greater risk here. Option B, filter water through your shirt into a bottle and drink it.
That's not
Option
doing
C,
shit.
dig a hole next to the stream to let the filter water seep in and then drink that. Or option D, push on without drinking and ration your remaining water, hoping to reach a better source before you collapse.
Yo, I'm about to collapse. Piss. Honestly, I agree with you for once more, Marcon. Piss seems like the right option here. Where did it say a stream was at? Dig a hole next to the stream to let filtered water seep in. That's not going to be filtered. I'm just moving on. It will not be filtered just because you made it so that we
correct
can
option
move
here is
more.
option C, dig a hole next to the stream to let filtered water seep through and then drink that. So the reason this is the right answer is because this lets ground sediment filter the water before it reaches your container. It doesn't remove microbes, but it's safer than direct consumption and it can make the difference between debilitating illness and staying functional. Option A, drinking directly, is the wrong answer because untreated water almost always carries parasites and microbes. You might get lucky once, but more often than not, this means violent illness within
Okay. Yeah.
best and knowledge is up ahead. It only works
Wait.
debris, not bacteria. And option D, rationing your water, is not the best answer because this only works if you know a safer source lies ahead. In this scenario, that knowledge isn't
That
guaranteed.
saver source is my piss.
Betting on it risks collapse before you ever find it. You hear human voices up ahead. One male, one female. Close enough to catch the words, but not close enough to see. The man says, "He couldn't have gone far," and the woman replies, "Then spread out." How do you respond to this threat? Option A, freeze and silently listen to gauge numbers and distance. Option B, immediately backtrack and take a wide arc around them. Option C, make noise in the opposite direction to bait them away. Or option D, climb a tree or rise to observe them without being seen.
Okay. D would make too much noise. And observing them is not going to do much. I don't know what the Marmarcon. Bro, chill out. Okay, so climbing a tree, not only is it going to make noise, but what is observing them actually going to do here? I mean, maybe if they're police officers, I can actually see that being really helpful here, but the noise isn't really worth the risk in my eyes, right? Make noise in the opposite direction? Hell no. Immediately backtrack and take a wide arc around them? No. I'm going to freeze silently and listen to gauge numbers and distance. Only because the freeze was the right option before. Dude, I honestly do want to say D. Yeah, I'm going to pick A, just to be different.
So the correct answer here is option A, freeze and listen silently to gauge numbers and distance. So the reason this is the right answer is because stillness is your least detectable state. SEER training emphasizes information before movement. By listening, you confirm at least 2 pursuers.
You were not right! What do you mean? You were not right! Did you say now I pick A last second? You're ridiculous.
Their intent and the fact that they're actively tracking. You also learn spacing. They're splitting up, which means you can predict their search grid and avoid blundering into it. Option B, backtracking, is the wrong option because while this feels safe, it's also noisy and blind. You could stumble right into the flank of their search pattern. Option C, noisemaking, is also wrong because this only escalates the chase, and you turn evasion into a manhunt.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna skip.
Underneath and drift away. When you move again, so you stay frozen, counting the seconds until the voices drift away. When you move again, you notice something small. A cigarette butt. Still damp, but not washed out by the rain. Someone's been here recently. Close enough that you can't tell if they're ahead of you or circling back. And even though the voices fade, your unease doesn't. You glance down, and you notice the mud clinging to your boots. Every step behind you is stamped clear as a trail sign. If they were close enough to hear, they were also close enough to see this. How do you break your trail most effectively now? Option A, start walking on rocks and fallen logs only. Option B, use large leaves or cloth to brush away prints as you go. Option C, cover your prints with dirt and pine needles every few steps. Or option D, double back and cross your own trail at an angle and then shift.
Okay, so doubling back is gonna waste time. But covering prints with dirt and pine needles, you're just gonna create a trail by moving all of that stuff in the first place. So it's gonna be between using A and B. So use large leaves or cloth to brush away prints as you go. Again, this is once again going to create a trail by interacting with the environment. So I'm going to say start walking on rocks and fallen logs only, but at the same time that's going to be very limited. And also if I got mud on them, I can still see myself creating a trail, but I think I got to just go with A here because it's the only one that makes sense in my head.
Terrain. So the correct answer here is option D, double back and cross your own trail at an angle and then shift terrain. So the reason this is
Marmarcon, you better not be waiting for my explanations before you pick.
Is that even though this might seem at odds with earlier advice about building false trails, the difference here is distance. When you had space, a false trail was useful because it bought you time, and the tracker would burn minutes chasing a decoy while you were able to slip away. Here though, the hunters are close enough that hesitation might mean capture. So you can't afford theatrics. You need an immediate break in your trail that forces them to stop and rethink. Doubling back in an angle does exactly that. It cuts the rhythm and it also erases the arrow of your direction. In SEER training, that kind of sharp displacement is how you shake pursuit when time is short. Option A.
You're still leaving a trail though.
A, walking on rock, but it's not.
I just wanted to hear the explanation.
It's time consuming and leaves it's not the best option or unnatural leaf scatter. A train tracker will notice the brush marks as a bigger sign than the footprints. It's also, most importantly here, slow, and again, time is exposure. And option C, covering prints, is not the right action, which could fool someone temporarily. Covering with debris is a classic mistake. It signals that you're trying to hide something, and to a tracker, that's better than footprints. So you double back and cross your own trail at an angle. You cover some ground, but paranoia lingers. If there are prints this clear here, then there are prints this clear everywhere. You keep moving, watching every step, until the trees thin and you catch sight of it. A small cabin, tucked back in the clearing. A steady thread of smoke rising from its chimney. Shelter. Maybe safety. Or maybe exactly the kind of place someone like you would stumble across. What's the safest course of action here? Option A, approach cautiously, knock, and ask for help. Option B, circle wide, observe silently from cover, and look for signs of who's inside. Option C, break in after dark and take supplies, leaving quickly. Or option D, leave immediately.
I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. B. I need supplies, but again, information's gonna be helpful here. I think it's good. We'll go with B. Marmarcon, are you just copying me because you know you're dying no matter what you pick at this point? Oh well.
So the correct answer here is option B, circle wide and observe silently. So the reason this is the right answer is because information beats impulse. Approaching blindly could risk you walking into your pursuer or hostile strangers. Observation from distance people around are treated even could, but it's not optimal walking into an ambush. And avoid.
Yeah, good job, Marmarcon. Let's give Marmarcon a round of applause. She got one right. It's been like 6 questions since she got one right.
Approach, but it's not optimal in this scenario because leaving gives up the chance to gather information. You don't know who is in the cabin or whether it's even occupied. Observation from cover gives you intel without commitment, and that's better than walking away blind. By skipping reconnaissance, you might miss supplies, an empty shelter, or clues.
Yo, can I?
Just cabins, smoke, or isn't just about hiding. It's also about managing risk while you smoke.
Okay, is this good?
So you circle wide, watching. You see smoke, but no movement. There's a pile of wood stacked neat and tools by the wall. Whoever was here, they're not here now. So you wait a bit
Supposedly.
longer, but still nothing. The smoke thins. The cabin is empty. Relief should follow, but it doesn't.
Yeah, like, why would they leave the smoke going? If anything, it just seems like someone's in there still.
If someone built this fire and left it burning, they expect to come back. So you slip away, carrying the thought with you. Sometimes the most dangerous sign isn't presence. It's absence. By the time you've put distance between yourself and the cabin, exhaustion drags at every step. Your thoughts keep stuttering, catching on the image of the fire burning with no one to tend to it. Stopping to rest feels like an even bigger gamble now, but pushing forward half awake guarantees mistakes. You find a dry pocket under foliage. No fire, no insulation, just enough cover to sit and decide. How do you maximize safety and recovery during a short sleep? Option A, force yourself to stay awake until sunrise.
No.
Sleep only when daylight makes you feel safer.
No.
Option B, sleep sitting upright with your back against a tree. Option C, bury yourself partially in dry debris for warmth and sleep deeply. Or option D, take multiple micro naps of 5 to 10 minutes while staying in the same concealed spot.
Okay, so I'm not going to do C because I learned that it's not worth it if I'm taking up too much energy. I like B, and I'm not going to force myself to stay awake, especially because nighttime is going to be the best time for me. So, sleep sitting upright with your back against a tree. It's something, right? But taking multiple micro naps, 5 to 10 minutes while staying in the same concealed spot, I mean, what difference does it make for 5 to 10 minutes? Also, how do you control that you're going to wake up in 5 to 10 minutes? Please tell me that. I'm going with B, just because how are you going to force yourself to wake up in 5 to 10 minutes? Hold on. You just got one of those old-fashioned alarms? Because we know you don't got your phone on you. So Marmarcon, please tell me how you are going to wake up in 5 to 10 minutes. Multiple times. You're not. B.
So the correct answer here is option B.
That's what I thought! That's what I thought! Let me put it down in my notes. I want to hear her explanation for years.
Sitting upright with your back against a tree. So the reason this is the right answer is because sitting upright keeps your position neutral and your senses half on. If someone closes in, you'll hear it or feel it faster than if you were lying down. In evasion scenarios, you don't get to collapse fully. You rest with awareness.
Alright, now let's hear her explanation for why that 5 to 10 minutes isn't good.
D, micronaps is also wrong because while this might sound clever, it's actually worse than just resting upright. Because micronaps yank your brain in and out of shutdown without.
Yeah, you're never getting REM sleep. Your brain's never getting rest, only your body is. You can get a little bit of deep sleep, but you're not getting any REM sleep in that situation.
You stabilize. Instead of recovery, you just build up fog and disorientation. In evasion, the goal isn't to have lots.
Is she not even to mention how can you control taking a 5 to 10 minute nap? Because let's be real, you're telling yourself, I'm going to take a half-hour nap. You're sleeping for 2 hours. 80% of the time. Let's not pretend you're not.
Broken little sleep, awake naturally without fully collapsing.
Wait, did she say something? No, she doesn't.
So you force yourself into shallow rest. Upright, back braced against a tree. When dawn comes, you've bought a few hours of shaky function, but your body is colder for it. Your muscles are stiff, your clothes are still damp, and every joint is shivering.
Clothes are
the
damp?
cold gnaws with every step. By now, your hands are numb. Your body's losing heat, and the idea of a flame feels less like temptation and more like survival. But you know what fire means out here. If you light one, you're not just warming yourself. You're answering back. What's the smartest way to manage warmth in this situation? Option A, build a small fire in a dugout pit, feeding it only damp wood to minimize flame. Option B, skip the fire entirely and insulate yourself under layers of leaves and debris. Option C, build a fire, but on a ridgeline where smoke can disperse quickly. Or option D, make a fire at dusk and then move camp once it burns low.
Okay. I think I have to skip the fire entirely here. Because building a small fire in a dugout pit, it doesn't sound like a horrible idea. I think building a fire in a ridgeline where smoke can disperse quickly, that sounds like the worst idea to me. Make a fire at dusk. It just doesn't even sound like you're being careful at all. So I'm going to skip the fire entirely and insulate myself with layers of leaves and debris.
So the correct answer here is option B, skip the fire entirely and insulate yourself under layers of leaves and debris.
Another right one.
So the reason this is the right answer is because leaves, debris, and natural insulation keeps you alive without declaring your location. You might be uncomfortable, but you're not at risk of hypothermia.
I'm skipping Marmarkon. You don't need to say it every time.
So you skip the fire, and you insulate. And you're still cold, but at least...
Yo. Chill out with that. You're about to get another timeout right here. How do I do this? Right click. Can I choose your timeout this time? Let me give you a warning. Watch it, pal. There's your warning right there. Don't let it happen again.
You make it through the night. And the forest is silent. No flame. No signal. You shiver until the gray light bleeds into the canopy. And it's morning. And you start moving again. But every step is stiff, half numb. The forest looks the same, but you feel terrible. And then the brush catches your shin. A snare line. Crude, but deliberate.
Oh no.
How do you respond to finding this trap?
Oh no.
Option A, step over it carefully and keep moving. Don't touch it. Option B, disable the snare quietly and then reset it sloppily as a sign someone interfered. Option C, use the snare's materials to set a diversion elsewhere.
No, bro.
Or option D, circle back and take a wide detour around this area.
I'm taking a wide detour around this area. Step over it carefully and keep moving. Most likely there's going to be more. Let's circle back and take a wide detour around the entire area. Marmarkon, you say your answer? Or you copy mine because it's such a good answer? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So the correct answer here is option A, step over it carefully and keep moving. Don't touch it. So the reason this is the right answer is because the safest option here is to bypass without a trace. Tampering just
You suck? Are you serious right now? I'm just saying, if you step over it, there's probably going to be a lot more where that came from, right?
Is your presence here and it wastes time. In hostile terrain, snares aren't just for animals. They're tripwires for awareness. Avoiding them cleanly denies the hunter confirmation that you were ever here. Option B, resetting, is wrong because it tells the tracker that someone is behind them and you've also just revealed.
You knew the answer would be A. If you knew that, you'd pick it.
Detours burn daylight and calories, the optimal option. So you limp onward. And you keep moving till the clouds rip open. And rain hammers the ground. It turns the soil to slurry, and the forest erupts in noise. You feel relief as you see your trail dissolving, and you know your scent is also scattering. But paranoia still lingers. If they're close, they don't need tracks. They don't need sound. The rain hides you, but it hides them as well.
You're drinking that rain? Me too.
Storm to your advantage.
Drink it!
A, push hard to cover maximum distance while the rain masks your movement. Option B, stay put and conceal yourself, and let the rain wash away your immediate trail. Option C, use the noise cover to set decoy signs leading in another direction.
Oh no.
Or option D, move uphill, using runoff streams to hide your scent and passage.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep in mind I am like about to pass out. I'm gonna say I'm gonna push hard because I'm still doing the same thing. But if I stay put, I'm just wasting more time. I'm getting hungrier and I'm getting thirstier as I go on. If I move uphill, uphill is going to be even more like just more difficult on your body. And then using noise cover to set decoy signs, it's also just going to take way more time, and I don't think that's going to be very realistic here.
So the correct answer here is option A, push hard to cover maximum distance while the rain masks your movement. So the reason this is the right answer is because rain isn't just cover, it's your only window against someone who's anticipating your moves. Every track is smeared away in the rain. Moving hard now forces the hunter to recalculate from scratch, breaking whatever pattern they think you're on. Option B, staying put, is wrong because the storm erases hammer. Storm thins, and for a moment, it feels like the cover will last. But of course it never does. When the storm thins to mist, every sound carries sharper, and that's when you hear it. A flock of birds burst from the tree line ahead, their wing beats frantic. It could be you they're reacting to. Could be someone else. Birds don't lie. They react.
What direction are they?
Something moved close enough to spook them. How do you interpret and act on this? Option A, freeze immediately, assume they were reacting to you, and hold until quiet. Option B, use the distraction to sprint farther while their noise covers you. Option C, circle carefully towards the disturbance to see if another human caused it. Or option D, backtrack silently to put more distance between you and the point of disturbance.
I want to backtrack silently, but I feel like that's not going to be silent enough, in her opinion, right? Freeze immediately. It doesn't sound that bad, but the people are obviously moving if the birds scare them. If they're moving towards my direction, I could still be screwed. So I'd kind of just be coin flipping at that point if I pick A. So I'm going to go with D.
So the correct answer here is option A, freeze immediately, assume they were reacting to you, and stay quiet. So the reason this is the right answer is because birds are some of the oldest tracking alarms in the world. By freezing, you avoid compounding the disturbance, and you buy yourself time to assess whether the birds were reacting to you or something else. In evasion, every noise start moving again in trepidation. You push on until another noise alerts you. It's loud and heavy, but it's not footsteps. Water.
Air. Ooh.
A river.
I'm drinking.
Loud enough to mask your noise, but also with a current that's strong enough to drown you.
I'm drinking.
What's the best move here? Option A, swim straight across at the wide point.
No!
Option B, move upstream or downstream to a narrower crossing before attempting. Option C, walk along the water line instead of crossing. Or option D, wade in shallow sections parallel to the bank without crossing fully.
Ooh. If there's still dogs, I'm going with D. Because even the shallow sections can still drag you back, actually. C or D? C or D? I'm walking the shallow sections parallel. I'm going with D.
So the correct answer here is option B, move upstream or downstream to a narrower crossing before attempting.
Why cross
so
the stream,
reason
though?
This is the right answer is because crossing water is one of the best ways to break your trail. It smothers sound, it washes away your scent, and it also erases footprints.
So would walking in it, in the shallow section.
But attempting it at a wide, fast-moving section is reckless. You'll burn energy. Section get across at the wide point is drowning.
Even with that
Is also
explanation,
not
I
the
think
best option
walking
because
in
it
it
doesn't
would be
hide
better.
anything. Option D, without gaining real benefit
Okay, how do you leave a continuous trail if you're in the shallow section?
of crossing. You eventually haul yourself onto the far bank, tired but in one piece. But your relief fades instantly. On the bank, you see signs of human activity. The mud is pressed flat, and the bark is scraped raw. Whoever you're evading just crossed here minutes ago. Too close
You see? Listening to her is gonna get you killed. I'm picking the right option here.
for coincidence. What do you do? Option A, stop and study the sign to understand direction and timing. Option B, move quickly away before they loop back. Option C, mask your trail immediately. Or option D, follow their tracks briefly and then break off.
Okay. Minutes ago. Why would they loop back, though? If they're ahead of me, this probably isn't the hunter. Or am I tweaking? Because shouldn't they be behind me if they're trying to track me? Or is this just some random dude walking around? Because I thought this hunter was good. Why would he be in front of me? I'm going to stop and study the signs to understand direction and timing.
So the correct answer here is option A, stop and study the sign to understand direction and timing. So the reason this is the right answer is because at this stage, information beats speed. If you run blind, you could sprint right into them. Studying the sign tells you where they were moving, if they're ahead of you, if they're behind you, how heavy they were moving, and how fresh the disturbance is. All of these are wrong because if they're just ahead, you collide. Masking is all traps.
Why is it assuming? How do they know this is
walk
the
right into
pursuer?
Fast, Prince. And they tell you one thing clearly. They were moving downstream. Fast. But the freshness of the sign gnaws at you. It must have been half an hour at most, maybe less. Close enough that if you sprint, you risk overtaking them, but also close enough that if you hesitate, they could double back. So you move on. But the silence feels loaded. When the trees finally begin to thin, you see a strip of gray cut across the forest floor. It's asphalt.
Ooh.
You've reached a road. You stare down this road. Civilization is close enough for you to hear its hum. But roads aren't only freedom, they're also funnels. Every evader knows prey gravitates towards them, and every pursuer knows it too. How do you cross without turning yourself into a silhouette in the open? Option A, sprint straight across immediately. Option B,
No, I'm too tired
wait
for it.
until dark and then cross. Option C, create a diversion and then cross under cover. Or option D, move along the tree line until you find a bridge or tunnel.
Why a bridge or a tunnel? I want to say move along the tree line because realistically, I'm like if this was me in the actual situation, I wouldn't walk on the path, but I would walk around the outside of it in the tree line. So sprinting straight across, no. Wait until dark. That it's gonna take too long. And then creating a diversion, I just don't think that's gonna work that well. I'm gonna say D.
So the correct answer here is option C, create a diversion and then cross under cover.
What diversion?
So the reason this is the right answer is because diversion buys you seconds, and seconds are survival. That could mean tossing a rock into the opposite tree line, letting a stage branch crack after.
She literally said the exact opposite not that long ago. Throwing a tree is just gonna it's not gonna cause them to go towards it. It's gonna cause them to be more alert. So realistically, if you did that and then use those seconds to run away, they're just gonna shoot you. We already know they have a rifle.
You've moved, or dropping an object that makes noise after you're already halfway across. The point is to pull focus away from the road itself, just long enough to cross the gap. Option A.
She already established that it doesn't actually pull away focus, it makes them more alert of their surroundings.
Escape hinging on not tripping. It also makes footing worse. If you know their options, so does the hunter. In escape scenarios, speed and momentum are essential, and bridges and tunnels are predictable choke points. If you're being hunted, those are the first places the pursuer will cover.
They don't even know where I'm at, they're in front of me.
Just means burning time and energy walking along a road edge that's wide open anyway. The point of causing a diversion here isn't that they make you invisible, it's that they give you a slim time window. But in this kind of test, that's all you need.
Okay, and what if I'm still 5 miles away from civilization, which that's kind of being lenient at this point? Seconds aren't going to buy me shit. This dude's clearly eating and has a rifle.
If you buy yourself just 5 seconds, this might be the difference between making it across and being spotted in the open. So you move. The crack of a branch splits the silence behind you, the sound you planted, not the sound of pursuit. For a heartbeat, the world goes still, except for your pulse. And then you see the headlights, cars on the highway, people.
So I would have been fine either way, let's be real here.
You flag them down, or maybe you just think you do. Their brakes hiss, doors slam, and figures spill out, silhouettes against the floodlights. For the first time in days, you stop running. But as they close in, a thought gnaws at you. Rescue and capture look the same at a distance. But too late, your knees
She's a
give.
D1 Rage Baiter, you're not wrong.
Your vision narrows. The noise of the highway swallows everything. You survive. Probably.
Did I, though?
So that concludes the last of the questions, and hopefully you made it. And hopefully you're also keeping track of how many questions you got correctly, because
I
I'm
got
now going
11.
to tell you what your score means. If you scored between 0 and 6 points, you would have been immediately captured. You wouldn't have lasted the first night.
Marmar Khan, how many points do you have? I'm not too confident. Go ahead, say them. How many points do you have, Marmar Khan?
Wrong calls you made stacked fast. Exposure,
5.
noise, careless signs. In a real pursuit, you'd be walking straight into the hunter's scope. If you scored between 7 to 12 points, you might have survived a day, but not long enough to last. You buy yourself time, and you have some good instincts, but your mistakes would bleed your energy until exhaustion or a snare finish you off.
Okay, so
You
I
only
died.
found it under a week. If you scored
I don't think so, though. I think I would have survived.
between 13 to 17 points,
I think realistically I should be here.
be a short-term survivor. You've got survival logic, and you'd outlast most people, but gaps in your decision would also add up.
She said no. But I feel like I feel like 2 or 3 of those, I feel like I really think they should be different. Like the distraction, and then there was just so many situations where like the option she said was the best is what led you to the person to begin with. So she's the expert. She's going off seer logic, but she's not seer herself. Okay, let's be real here.
Maybe a wrong crossing, resting too carelessly in the wrong place. You'd make it close to extraction, but not all the way. If you scored 18 to 20 points, it would be a close call. You have solid instincts. You'd endure days of pressure, weather, and paranoia and still keep moving. You might have made a few slips here and there, but nothing fatal. And you'd probably reach the edge of civilization with real odds of getting out alive. And finally, if you scored between 21 to 22 points, you're a ghost. You didn't just survive, you completely vanished. Every move was calculated, every mistake was avoided. The hunter would know you were out there, but they'd never close the distance. Rescue or self-extraction, you made it.
Okay, I want to see some of the comments. That was a pretty good video, though. Just realized I forgot to add in pauses after the questions before revealing the answers. Sorry, my bad. Oh well. Plot twist, the person tracking you is actually just a rescue team of volunteers and police officers who only want to find you because you're a missing person. Damn, I only got 5 out of 22. That is very unfortunate. The right answer is almost always my second choice. I'd be dead from the beginning. Again, I have to say that I feel like a different point system would work really well for quizzes like these, because if an answer is good but not the best, it still means you're on the right track. I agree with that. Man, what if the tracker was just a chill guy trying to rescue you? Current is stronger in narrower sections of river, and they're often deeper because the same amount of water is being forced through a smaller area. Yeah, I said that it would still be strong enough to drag you in. You survived, probably. Probably, all that and I could still be dead. Please continue making these types of scenarios. Okay, that was a pretty good video. I definitely will be doing more later, and that will 100% be on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so if you like this video / stream, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, or follow if you're watching this on Twitch right now. And yeah, turn on notifications to see more like this. I will be live most likely tomorrow, and then this video will most likely be out tonight or tomorrow. And yeah, that's everything. See ya.